Welcome. Welcome to this week's Cool Chief episode. Today, I have a wonderful guest, Barbara Warren, also known to all of us Instagrammers as the Perennial Project. Welcome, Barbara.
Thank you.
We are going to talk change, midlife change, and who doesn't like a fresh start, whether it's to your day or your week or your year. And Barbara's here to tell us that it's never too late to make a big difference or a big change. She is also the founder of White and Warren Cashmere, which I have one of your sweaters, if not more than one of your sweaters, Barbara, in my closet. And I'm sure you ladies out there have them as well, because they're gorgeous sweaters. So thank you for making those. Before we get into the meat of reinventing ourselves and all the possibilities that are available to us women in midlife now, I want to introduce myself for those people who might not know who I am. I'm Jack Perez. I'm the founder and CEO of Kuel, and that is spelled with a K. It's all cattywampus, Kuellife, and it is a play on the whole concept of cool and continuing to be cool as we age. It is an online community and a curated shopping experience for women in midlife. It focuses on the bravest women I know, Barbara, and you're one of them, women entrepreneurs. So the focus is on women entrepreneurs. Before we get into the meat of changing our perspective and reinvention in midlife, Barbara, would you care to make an introduction and give my audience a little bit of information on who you are and how you became the Perennial Project?
Sure, I'd be delighted. So first of all, thank you for having me. It's always really nice to have these conversations and spread the word and meet other like-minded women who are on a mission to connect with us midlifers and to make a difference in other people's lives as well as our own, and find meaning in this incredible chapter we're in. And just to give a little background as to your question, so I was always an entrepreneur in the fashion world, and I founded White and Warren. And I also founded another company called B 3.0 Luxury Activewear. And I'm going to abbreviate my journey a bit, but I closed B 3.0 in 2017. And as a female entrepreneur, of course, I was looking at what's next, what's my next chapter. And I felt as though I was not as interested in doing manufacturing again, but I really did want to stay in this space and connect with women. And in seeking my next mission, I was exploring what is out there, and I wanted information about us and for us. And there was no print magazine talking to us, and there really wasn't any space online that was encompassing all the aspects of our complicated and complex lives. So I came up with Perennial Project as a platform, and I now call it my soapbox, to share thoughts and issues and fashion and style all around this place we're in. And I've been doing it for 1.5 years, and it's been fascinating. Tons of learning, met great people, such as yourself, and joined a whole new community.
Well, and it's funny because we were talking briefly before the show started, and I have a very similar experience, is that I have lived a very what I believe is a bright and colorful life. Now, I wasn't as successful, quoted, as an entrepreneur in a particular industry as such as yourself. And I'm very humbled by women, and I'm inspired and humbled by women such as yourself. But I had the same issue. I was looking out there for information, relevant content to me that was positive, that wasn't telling me I need to do Botox or I need to do Juvederm. And I'm not anti any of the wonderful technologies that are available to us women to make decisions about how we want to do it. But I wanted more than that, and I couldn't find it. So I decided to build it myself. And I'm not an expert in any one particular field. So my whole mission is to try to bring as many of us cool women together to share and cross-pollinate ideas and cross-pollinate stories, because we are so much bigger and so much stronger as a community than we are as individuals. And my premise is there's always room at the table for one more chair. You know, you can squeeze one more woman into that, into that table and into that room. So,
Right.
So you founded Perennial Project for much the same reasons that I founded Kuel Life.
Yeah.
But what do you, when women come to you, because you are an expert in fashion, and fashion does potentially can change. Women might feel differently as they age about fashion, or they don't. But what are some of the questions that you get? And ladies, if you are watching this right now and you have a question for Barbara, and even if you're watching this on the rebroadcast, put your comments or your questions down below, and we will circle back around, and I'll make sure that we get to your questions if you have any questions. And you have an expert here right now, so this is your opportunity to ask some questions. So what are some of the questions, Barbara, that you get from women about reinventing themselves at this stage of our life?
Right. Well, your first question was about fashion and style, what women ask. So let me address that.
Okay.
Women often ask, can I wear this? Does this still look good? Is this still relevant? And, there are a few takeaways that I like to give people. And number one is you have to feel good in order to look good, as well as looking good is feeling good. So if you feel like your best self when you put something on, that's really what matters most, because you're going to wear it with confidence. And that's going to help you more than anything, more than any purchase that says, oh, I bought it today. If that jacket from 10 years ago, whether it's perfectly cut or not, gives you that sense of self, that's really key to anything. That said, but I also do believe that we should all dress age appropriate. Even if you wear something that's new or that's been in your closet for a while, make sure that it covers you in the right places, and that, the sleeve, if it's the sleeve length is down to where you want it. And we don't want to be showing parts of our bodies concurrently that we shouldn't be. It's great when you're young, you wear a short skirt, you wear a low-cut dress, that's great. But when you're this age, if you're going to wear a short skirt, wear it appropriately short, and then wear a more covered up top. So show like one part of your body at a time. If you're going to have something deep cut on, that's great. It's gorgeous. If woman wants to show a bit of bosom, but don't show everything else. So don't try and relive how you looked and how girls in their 20s wear clothes. It's just not a good look for us. It's trying hard. It sends a bad message.
Well, and I also think that, I think to what you said, where you started, which is if you feel like you look good, then that energy and that radiance is going to come out no matter what you're wearing.
And 100%.
Yeah. And I've seen, one of the upsides, there's a lot of upsides to aging. And one of the upsides that I have found is when I see young girls and they're half naked and they look great. I mean, their skin is perfect. They don't have a blemish. They don't have, any, saggy skin from having babies. They're, all of it, but they don't necessarily exude confidence, because I think in some ways we are allowed to be more confident and get more confident as we age. And so we may not have the perfect skin and the flawless body, but we do get to have a lot of confidence.
Right. Well, confidence comes from within, first and foremost.
Yes.
And I think that that's what the younger generation doesn't get yet. And really a lot of that confidence comes with time and experience and gaining wisdom along the way. So when, women that are very young are dressing a certain way, and it's almost a false confidence. It's a very sexual, and I could have a whole conversation about that, but it's oftentimes a very sexual sort of appeal versus an inwardly, I'm a confident woman kind of appeal. It's sort of something they don't get yet, that it's looking for confidence from the outside versus what we get over time, which is confidence from the inside.
But it's also, it's also age appropriate.
Absolutely. 100% age appropriate. Right.
Yeah. It's an age appropriate attitude. It's an age appropriate, level of experience. I mean, they just haven't been around. We just weren't around the planet long enough in our 20s or 30s. And also we had a different agenda, right? We were, listen, my biological imperative is done. I am not looking to have babies. So I'm not looking for that, right? I'm not looking, I think that whole concept of the flower looking to be pollinated type of, I mean, I think there's something to it, right? From a biology standpoint.
Right, right.
And at this age, we're not looking for that anymore.
Right. Well, I also always found it interesting that when we go through menopause, now we're sidetracking a little bit. When you go through menopause, your sex drive drops, but it's at a time that you don't need it to procreate anymore. So Mother Nature has it figured out for us.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm sorry, we did sidetrack. So let's go back to, the concept of reinventing yourself in midlife, which is what you're all about. So.
Right. So, so many of us pivot in our lives for so many reasons. A lot of women have been raising their kids and working from home, taking care of a family. That's a job. So I don't want to hear anybody say to me, oh, I didn't work. Well, you did work.
Yes.
A mom and running a household and making sure that everybody else is cared for. That's full-time work. So a lot of women want to get back into the workforce when their kids are heading off to college and they've taken that time away. Other women want to pivot because they've been at their careers for a really long time and they're just not wanting to do that anymore. I don't think we should have to do the same thing past 20 years, 25 years, or past 10 years, whatever it is. But there's something that happens to women at this time in life that really affects so many things that makes us want to change our careers.
I've also run into some women because, like I said, the Kuel shop is focused on entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs. So what I try to do is curate products by women for women. So the whole concept is if you're supporting a woman-based business. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I'm finding when I'm out there searching for women and searching for entrepreneurs is that some women have also they're fed up with their inability. They've sort of reached, that glass ceiling, whatever that is. And they're tired of it and they kind of want to make their own rules. So even if they've been working the whole time while raising a family, even if they haven't left the workforce, some women are I want to do something passionate. I want to do something I believe in. And I feel like I can't get any further where I am. So I'm going to go reinvent the rules. I'm just making it up. I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to make it happen myself. So do you find that to be true in your world as well?
Yes, all of these scenarios are true. And again, there is so much that goes on in our lives around now. So if you look at it, we have hormonal changes with menopause. We have our kids growing up and moving out. So that's a huge transition. Menopause also has an effect on our moods, our emotions, our relationships. We are also dealing with aging parents and getting involved with their healthcare or their finances. So there's so much that's going on. I think it's a real time to check in and understand that this is a pivotal time in life, and also to embrace it and not fear it. And I think that's the huge opportunity and the huge change. We have been reared to look down upon changing and reinvention. Like it's something we don't do at this point. It's too late for us, and we should be looking toward retirement and not reinventing. And that's really a myth. If you look at today's adulthood, mature adulthood, where we are really starts at around 35 and goes to about 70. So we're in the middle of it, right? We have to reframe our own look at aging and understand where we are and be happy about it, and embrace it. And this is great. This is not, oh God, I just have to fill, how many more years? Oh gosh, I can't do this. I'm too old. And just get that internal dialogue to go away. And I am absolutely guilty of it. In the past, when I was 49, I was terrified of 50, having all these thoughts. Oh, I'm done. I'm a has-been. I'm washed up. And immediately after I turned 50, I realized that was just my own stuff, my own junk getting in the way. Yeah. And I started a business and loved. There was no difference except for my own confidence. I was better at what I did, right. And it's reframing your narrative and carrying it through. And and having I can do anything, I can explore anything, I can become something else kind of attitude that's really, it has to become pervasive because it's the truth.
Yes. And well, you know, before I started Cool Life, I did a whole bunch of research and, you know, business plan and all that stuff just to see what the demographic was. And we are strong in numbers, and we are the healthiest and the wealthiest cohort of women ever. We are not our mothers. We're not our grandmothers. We exercise, we eat well. We are, yeah, there's no reason to start slowing down. Now, mind you, I don't know about your body, but my body doesn't like me as much as it used to like me. So I have, you know, more aches and pains, but you get to decide whether that is going to be a limiting factor or if that's just going to be something that you deal with and ignore and keep on going, you know?
Right. Well, you can ignore it. But there's also so much information coming out about reversing aging. And, you know, depending upon what it is, I think more information available to us to combat a lot of the issues that are physical. And that's only going to change with time as we're living longer. You know, science is on our side.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Because we're such a large cohort and we have an incentive to try to keep ourselves as healthy and alive and productive as because it is so much fun to reinvent ourselves, isn't it? I mean, who wants to do the same thing for, you know, 80, 90, 100 years if we're that lucky, right? I mean, I know I'm being very optimistic. Very optimistic. I'm definitely the girl who's always the and yes girl, not the or but girl. But
yeah, lay it on.
Well, that's wonderful. So, once again, ladies, if you're watching this in the rebroadcast and you have any questions for Barbara or any particular issues that you would like to see on these Cool Chief episodes, I'm happy to get Barbara to come back to address different issues if you have them or different questions. Barbara, let's say that I'm, you know, 50 something, right? And I'm dissatisfied, you know, just hitting that wall of, is this all there is? Do you have any sort of, I don't know, top, like, you know, here are the three things that you need to do or should do to start the new you, to get yourself over that hump of, okay, I'm in a place where I've reached sort of an apex and I want to do something different, but I don't know what to do and I don't know how to potentially make that change.
Right.
What do you say to a woman who potentially is at the cusp of making a great change, but needs that little bit of a push? Right.
I think we all do. First of all, I don't think that that's exclusive to any one person. I think we all need to know how to do this. And if you know how to go about problem solving, you can apply it to anything, right? So to me, there's a roadblock. The roadblock is I'm stuck. Right. And I need to figure out how to get around this. And first of all, it's to understand that it's a process. It's not an event. It's going to take time. And you have to study yourself and study the landscape out there. So when I say study yourself, it's, you know, what am I not satisfied with about what I'm doing? What are the things that would make me happy? And you're not going to know all these things right away. It might just start with a feeling, some sort of, you know, like a gut primal feeling of, dissatisfaction. So if you can articulate the things that aren't working for you and start to identify what are the things that you think would even make you happy? Is it, I have a passion for helping kids. Well, how do I pivot from being an attorney to, I'm making this up obviously, to helping kids? And so it's an exploratory, and I'm a student. I love to study and learn about things, and everything is available online. So it could be, you know, start to Google kids causes and what is it about kids, or is it kids education and what foundations are there, and who can I speak to, who could become a mentor to me, how can I build a network? Networking is really, really important in reinvention. And by and large, people are incredibly kind and generous and want to help other people, and especially women for women. I think we all get that sisterhood of, yeah, you know, let's talk. Let's, just like you and I are doing.
Yes. And I have, like I said, I'm relatively new on the scene, like having decided to build this business. And I have to tell you, I have had nothing but amazing, supportive, encouraging women that I have, you know, stumbled across or reached out to. Each and every one of them, including yourself, has given me the gift of time, which honestly, what better gift can you give someone than the gift of time?
Right.
And we women, I think sometimes are underutilized, but we've been, especially in midlife, we've been around for a really long time. We have a wealth of wisdom, a wealth of experience, and we're all willing and able to share it with one another. So, so reach out. What you're saying is reach out, which is incredible. Yeah.
Agree. To that end. So it's not just reaching out to other women, because that's how we're going to learn, but it's reaching out to those you don't know. It's go on LinkedIn and find companies, or find heads of companies, or heads of HR, or heads of a department who you think you could learn from, and reach out and build your network. And then you also have to redo a resume, and redo your resume when you are a little bit farther along in the process. Don't redo a resume right away, because it involves some time to explore and learn about yourself a little bit, and your wants. And you want to make your resume talk about what you're good at. So it's not just a list of here's where I've worked, here's what I've done, but have a bit of a 30,000 foot look at yourself, right? Look at yourself globally. So I worked at home, or I ran a family. So you're highly organized, you're strategic, you're great at planning, you're an event planner. You can organize people, you can raise money. So it's rewording your resume to talk about your skills. And when you go and talk to people, it's talk about your skills, what you can do, what you're interested in. I'm thinking it can't be like you're a nervous Nelly without confidence. Even if you're not confident in what you're doing next, own your own confidence and your own journey and everything you are and everything you've done, and bring that forward, because that's what's going to help you make the next steps.
Oh my goodness. I don't know if you can hear all that craziness.
Yes.
I thought I turned off my phone, and I put on the little moon thing, right? Isn't that supposed to shut it up? But apparently not. So my apologies. I'm trying to figure out how to turn it off while you're talking. Oh, that's so annoying. I'm so sorry, Barbara.
No worries.
Life, because you know what? Life just keeps happening. It doesn't really matter what you do.
That's right.
No, seriously, you can try to reinvent yourself and all that stuff. You still have to do it in the context of the world just keeps spinning around you. And
yes, very true.
And you can't put everybody else on pause. It doesn't work that way.
Right. Life just keeps going, gets in the way.
Okay.
Another part of reinvention, and I've spoken to several women about this, is look at your physical self. You have to look current. And, if you're still wearing your hair in a corporate bob, grow your hair out. Don't worry about the blow dry. Just relax a little. Don't worry about the suits. Put those away. Hold on to the jackets. Put them on with jeans and a t-shirt. Really get yourself looking more contemporary. And also, because so many jobs you're going to be interviewing for are going to be with younger people, you have to fit in physically. You can't walk in and look like, a relic from another era.
Right. No, it's funny because I think I was telling you, I'm starting this program. And when I went in to interview for the program for entrepreneurial, it's a wonderful entrepreneurial opportunity. The women interviewing me were significantly younger than I. And it was really interesting. It was like, oh, that's right. Because I remember being, hoity-toity corporate America in my 30s. That's an appropriate age to be interviewing me for this opportunity. But you're right. You have to come in looking like you're a peer, a colleague,
contemporary.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's that first impression. If they see you as, from another era, I can't connect with this person. That's a problem. And it's not that younger people can't connect with us. And we've got, I think, great symbiotic relationships. But I think clothing is a great leveler, right? Your physical appearance is a leveler.
Yeah.
So, I think that's pretty easy to achieve. And then also, I think everybody has to get very versed in working on your computer, know how to do things, know how to use, Google Suite and all your apps, and be on social media. I think to go in and talk to anybody and not have a social media awareness
Right.
is really going to be problematic in this day and age.
Yeah. So just to recap, so I think what I've heard about the whole concept of reinventing ourselves in midlife is, first, you got to take internal stock.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that why are we unhappy? What could make us happy? Maybe start a running list of these are the notions I would like to explore, and then take some time to explore them. And you're right, we have a wealth of information at our fingertips. Google is your friend, not your enemy. You can Google anything and get your hands on research. And LinkedIn is a fabulous resource. So once you've identified some areas that you want to explore, then find the experts in that area. And as Barbara was saying, the women out here are willing and able to help one another. So it's good. Go find them, have those conversations. And then you got to so that's sort of the internal side I'm hearing. And then the external is, you have to have, a working knowledge of the tools that the community is using around you. So you have to have a working knowledge of social media, working knowledge of your laptop. And you also then have to look like you can fit in. So you have to kind of look at that, at the package. Did I sort of recap what you?
Yes, you did. Yes. And then another thing is that there are a number of organizations that are getting women retrained into the workforce. So if you do a little Google search on reinvention or women's reinvention organizations, get connected there and get introduced. And there are companies that are offering internships for reinventors, and after an internship you can then apply for a job.
Okay. And I will even do one better. I'll actually Google some of that stuff, and I'll put some URLs at the bottom here for you ladies if you want to start doing a little bit of perusing to see if that's an avenue you'd like to take. And if you know someone who is thinking about reinventing or is unhappy and has been lamenting that they want to change, tag them into this video, tag them into this conversation, because I think, Barbara, you're dead on, and you're very encouraging. And thank you so much for your time today. I would love to have you back some other day. If you don't know Barbara and the Perennial Project, you have to follow her on Instagram. I'll put her tag on the bottom here so you can follow her on Instagram. She's always got the most amazing outfits.
Oh, thank you.
Go look in your closet, because I bet you have one of her cashmere sweaters. And I bet you have one of her sweaters. So until the next time, please, Barbara, let's stay in touch, and we'll talk again about some other relevant topics.
Sounds great.
Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thanks. You too. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.